I'm really excited to be here to talk about all things space tech, and I'm delighted to have such a group of diverse experts join me to debate this. I'm Kim Kreider, and I'm part of Deloitte Space. We look at ways to help companies in every industry sector leverage space as a growth opportunity for their businesses. It feels like a great time to talk about the possibilities space tech offers, both now and in the future. So let's talk a little bit about finance. And Claire, I'm going to turn to you. Is space tech relevant to the banking industry?
Oh, absolutely, yes. There's a whole new branch of the finance sector. It's called geospatial finance. And this is all about knowing where your assets are and what they're vulnerable to, or what opportunities there are. But you can only know it if you know about the geospatial landscape around your asset. The only way to know this meaningfully at scale is to use Earth observation, so like space tech, everything that looks down. And then how is the thing at this location connected to the thing over there? Without actually looking at it, without observing it from above, you cannot make these connections. For any large company, especially within finance, there's no way you're going to send one person out to every single site that you're interested in. You won't have the time, you won't have the resources, but with continuous observation from space, we can see that, we can see it almost instantly. You can have your satellite pass overhead once a day or once a week. So you can get really, really up-to-date information on where your assets are, what they're at risk at. From the sort of climate risk perspective, the kind of thing that we look at Climate X, you have to know what your asset is surrounded by to know what it's at risk from. And that can be things like what physically is on the ground. It can also be about what the local weather and climate is like, weather systems that we can see from space. And all that information is vital for understanding where your risk is, and without that, you just can't know it.
I'd build on that. There's a general adage about data being the new oil in the 21st century. The reality of space and the kind of technologies we're talking about is that in the very near future, and we're already a long way towards this, every square meter of the Earth is going to have information captured about it every hour at global scale. So just think how profound a data set that is, and then you think about how that might be applied to virtually every sector. So for me, it's a question of not which sectors is it going to most resonate with, it's which sectors is space not going to impact, and there's very, very few.
And I think building on that as well, for the banking market, it's not just driven by regulatory requirements, but there is also that opportunity to innovate. And how do you use satellite data to help you build new products as a bank? So whether that is integrating satellite data to understand the thermal opportunity or the solar potential or the wind potential of specific land parcels, and then take that data and offer better green financing loans and mortgages to some of your customers as a bank. We're definitely seeing clients explore that space as well as a new white space for them beyond just the regulatory pieces.
Yeah. What about insurance? How do you think the insurance industry is going to leverage this?
I think we're already seeing it.
Yeah.
So if we think about the US, again, driven by regulation, but it's already now mandatory to insure your crops. So we're seeing startups respond to that, building out products to actually be able to ensure instant payouts of crop failures, be able to understand where there might be a risk to that crop. And again, that's directly related to an insurance product. But I think, like a lot of what we're seeing with the use of Earth observation data, we'll get to a point where those end users don't necessarily even know it's being fed by that data stream, and just becomes an extra data layer that we have in our arsenal.
I think one of the big challenges for the space, for the insurance sector is actually quite an existential question, which is the past is no longer necessarily a guide to the future. Why is that? Because of the effects of climate change. You're seeing increasingly large impact, but unpredictable climate-related events that are causing massive issues and massive losses within the insurance sector. So finding better ways to price risk and determine what might happen is really fundamental to the future of the entire insurance sector, and it's only really through the application of space data that we believe there is a solution to those sort of challenges.
Yeah. This has been a really interesting discussion here today, and I want to thank our guests for sharing their expertise. We hope this conversation has inspired you when it comes to the possibilities space tech offers both now and in the future.